Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I'm Kelsey Marier, your host and producer for Morning Pulse, where I bring you live local headlines every weekday morning at 8:30 for Southeast Minnesota and Northern Iowa. Happy to have you here on this December 10th, Wednesday. Today I have three news headlines for you impacting our local coverage area. One of the stories has three parts to it, so it's going to seem like a little bit of a longer, more complex story, but it is still just three headlines for you today to make sure you know what's going on in your communities, and then you can get back to your day. I'll touch a little bit on the weather. We've had a lot of weather coverage this morning for our first alert day, and I will touch on that before I sign off. So we're going to start first with the story impacting Minnesota. So move from the state seemingly kind of in line with a push to fight fraud, which has made national headlines recently. So the Minnesota Department of Human Services has announced it's instituting a 2-year pause on new licenses for home and community-based services. What that means is that's kind of the support for older adults and people with disabilities or any chronic illnesses. So that pause will run from January 1st of 2026 through December 31st of 2027. So again, a 2-year pause. The DHS reporting the increase in provider applications far outpaces the increase in people that are receiving these services. The department says licensing efforts will focus on visiting existing providers to really ensure compliance. Again, this is all amid fraud happening in the state of Minnesota. A statement says that this aligns with Governor Tim Walz's executive order directing any state agencies to help combat fraud. So just an update there from the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. All right, our next story, we are going to the campaign trail. I have three updates in this one story regarding the election for 2026. So we have learned that some elected officials in both Minnesota and Iowa are announcing their campaign decisions for next year. So in Minnesota, the current Secretary of State, Steve Simon, who you see on your screen, says that he does plan to run for re-election next year. Simon has held his position as Secretary of State since 2015. He is currently the only member of his party that is declared to run, but at this time, the only Republican in the other party declaring to run against him is former State Senator Tad Jude. Tad Jude is the only other person right now in the race. So that is for Minnesota Secretary of State in the election for 2026. Next, Minnesota State Senator Steve Drazkowski says he will not be seeking re-election next year. He is the Republican representative, or senator rather, seeking in Mazeppa, his 2-decade legislative career spanning both the House and the Senate started back in 2007. He currently represents Senate District 20, which includes Wabasha and Goodhue counties, as well as Olmsted and Winona counties. Drazkowski is saying serving the people of Southeast Minnesota has been a great honor for him. So again, he will not be seeking re-election. His current term ends in January of 2027. And finally, in the election coverage stories that I have for you this morning, we're going into the state of Iowa now, where we have learned that Iowa Senate Minority Leader Janice Weiner will be seeking to keep her District 45 seat. So she has represented most of Iowa City and University Heights in the state Senate since 2023. So she will be seeking re-election for 2026. And on that note, a community kickoff for her campaign is actually scheduled for today. That is happening in Iowa City. So those are kind of your campaign stories for our Wednesday morning in the Your Vote for 2026 election season. And our third and final story on this Wednesday, kind of a traffic alert we want drivers to know about in Rochester regarding Highway 52. So some people could be seeing some delays overnight as MnDOT crews are going to be replacing 2 different overhead digital message signs, again, along Highway 52. So we got this information from MnDOT. So work is going to begin tonight at 8 o'clock, lasting through 6 tomorrow morning. That's for a portion of Highway 52 from Civic Center Drive, ending just north of Apache Mall. Those are the southbound lanes, I should mention, that are going to be narrowed down to one lane because of this message sign replacement. The second closure will be taking place tomorrow at 10 p.m., lasting through 6 a.m. Friday morning, and that will impact the northbound Highway 52 lanes at Olmsted County Road 1, kind of the exit 50 area. So just two different parts of Highway 52, north and southbound, that are going to be having some delays, a couple of lane closures due to MnDOT crews having to replace those digital message signs that we see, and they always put funny messages on there. Informative and important, but they're sometimes pretty funny, which I find to be kind of fun. So, okay, those are your news headlines for our Wednesday. Quickly on the weather front, it is a first alert day. If you've looked outside or if you watched any of our morning newscasts this morning, you are informed that weather was definitely the driver this morning in the news, because there was winter weather that happened overnight. Obviously, last night we started to see some snow and we started to see some ice pellets even falling, which was definitely impacting our roads, making things a lot very slippery, very slick, and that just continued into our morning today. So just be aware, if you have not headed out the door at all this morning or today, that it could still be a little slick out there. MnDOT was reporting basically partially or fully covered roads all across southeast Minnesota, and some of that was even bleeding into northern Iowa as well. So just know that the weather today, this morning, could still impact later parts of your day, but that snow and that ice, it's not going to continue to fall by any means throughout our entire Wednesday rather. So just keep that in mind. And we'll move about our Wednesday. So you can find all of your first alert weather updates by going to kttc.com. We had extensive continuing team coverage this morning, covering all of that, and all of that information is on our website as well as on our social media pages. So wherever you need to find the weather, you can come to KTTC. We will always have you covered. All right, that is all that I have for you on this Wednesday. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another, and I will see you right back here tomorrow.